Hello, I'm Michael Eskew, designer of the newest card game, Aces and Eights Dead Man's Hand. Today, I'm going to show you how to play it. To play Aces and Eights, first you're going to need the Ghoul deck. This deck contains all the cards that represent the different knights that you're going to be going out hunting. On these cards, you'll find the ghouls that you're trying to capture and the items that you'll be taking from them once you capture them. In addition to the Ghoul deck, there's also some player aids that come in handy that show you the different values of the hands. It also shows the game flow. In addition to that, each player needs their own set of playing cards. So for this game, we're going to have 2 players. Each has their own deck. Each player also needs 10 health chips. I use poker chips. They tend to work really well. Each player also needs their own set of location selection cards. These are the numbers 1 through 7, all of the same suit, and you want to have different backs compared to the playing card decks that they're using. No matter how many players you have, you'll also need a set of 5 poker dice. These are 6-sided dice, and these are used for the ghoul attacks. And a dice cup can come in handy too. Okay, the first thing we do is shuffle our playing card decks. Once that's done, you're also going to shuffle the ghoul deck, and then each round you're going to be dealing 7 ghoul cards. Once we have the ghoul cards dealt, you're going to group them together in light groups. So we have 3 general stores here. We have 2 banks, church, and a hotel. And what you want to do is group the largest groups together at the top. So once these are laid out, we have location 1, location 2, location 3, and location 4. Next, players draw up to 5 cards. If they have any cards remaining from the previous round, they draw up to 5, and they don't go over 5 unless they're using their special abilities. So I'm going to draw 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so I've drawn my 5 cards. I'm ready to start. I don't have any ghoul cards in the very beginning, so I don't have any of their abilities to use. But here's my hand. As you can see, I have 4 hearts and an ace. Okay, from there, I'm going to discard up to 3 cards and then draw back the remaining, just like you would do in poker. So I'm going to try for the flush with 5 hearts. So I'm going to discard the ace. This goes actually face up to the side, and then draw the next card on my playing card deck. And I did not get the heart I was hoping for, but I did get a 5, so that's a pair. Now if you look on the hand values, a pair is equal to 1 point. So what I would do is I would look along here, see which location I want to visit. So the rest of these cards I just set aside, and I set my pair down here. As I'm doing this, the other players will also be doing the same thing. Now of these locations here, location 1, as you can see, has a whole lot of ghouls. Location 2 has 4 ghouls, location 3 has 2, and location 4 has 2. Now with my pair, I only have 1 attack value. So I am not going to get away unscathed, but I have some hit points to use up, and so I might as well do that. So looking at these locations here, I could either go for location 3 or 4. I'm going to go for location 4. That looks good. So what I'll do is I will choose my location 4 card and place that face down in front of me. You don't want to place it close to it because then players will know where you're going. You just place it in front of you. Wait for the other players to go. So my opponent here, they happen to have a really good hand, and they go for location 2. And once everyone's chosen their locations, we all simultaneously reveal our locations and then put the card next to it. Once we've chosen our locations, we then reveal and resolve each location in order. My opponent here has chosen location number 2. She would reveal her hand. As you can see, she has a full house, which is 6 points. You can see why she may have chosen this location rather than the first one. First one has 9 ghouls that she would need to capture. In this location here, there are only 4. So she's kind of wasting 2 of her attack points, but rather than taking several hits there, it might be worth it. So the initial attack is actually resolved by the ghoul dice, the poker dice here. So what she would do, she would count up the number of ghouls, which we have 4 here. She picks that number of dice. So as you can see, once you are up to 5 ghouls, you will be rolling 5 dice, which changes the attack value, meaning they can get a full house, they can get other combinations that you wouldn't be able to get with 4 poker dice. So the 4 poker dice, we'll go ahead and roll these. Okay, it looks like she got a pair. So that means the ghouls attack her for 1 hit point with the pair, so she loses 1 hit point. Now, she attacks the ghouls using her card. She has a full house, the 6, which is plenty to take on these 4. So she takes these 2 cards and adds them to her stack here. So her turn is now done. We move on to the next locations. The location number 4 here, this is the one that I went after. If you remember, I had a pair. So always first you roll the ghoul dice. Now if there's only 1 ghoul there, obviously you don't need to roll any because that would not amount to any points. So I rolled a 9 and a 10, which is nothing, so I do not get attacked there. Now I attack, and I have my pair. Now again, the pair is only worth 1 attack value, so I'm only going to be able to take out one of them, so the other one attacks me, and I lose 1 hit point as well. But I still get to keep the item I was going after, and I add that to my stack. After this is done, everyone takes back their location cards. Any cards that they played, those are discarded face up. All of the ghoul locations, they're stacked up and they are discarded. You can just move them off to the side here, face up. And from there, we start the next round. Okay, to start the next round, we draw again 7 ghoul cards from the ghoul deck. Okay, as we did before, we group them together, so we have 3 hotel cards here. So we put those, put the most of any kind up at the top. Then we have 2 bank cards, they come in second. Then we have a church and a jail. Typically you have maybe 3 or 4 different locations, but you could have anywhere to a single location, all the way up to 7 locations. Okay, next we draw back up to 5 cards in our playing card hands. If you remember, I had 3 cards remaining, so I will draw 2 more cards. So here, it looks like I could go for a straight. That would be worth 4 attack points. Now, I could risk it and just discard 1 and then hope I get the card I'm looking for, or I can go ahead and use my Gunslinger belt. Now, the Gunslinger belt allows me to draw 2 extra cards, and this is only during the draw phase, so I'd have to do that before I exchange. I'm going to go ahead and use this, so what I would do is turn it over, meaning it's been used. I would draw 2 more cards. Okay, so the hand I've drawn here, you can see it goes all the way from 8, 9, 10, Jack, Queen, King. So it's actually 1 more card than I need. Now looking at this, you'll notice that there's also an 8 in here. So determining which card I want to discard or to hang on to for the next round, I'll actually hang on to the 8 because the 8s do something special, which I'll explain in a moment. Now I could go ahead and discard the 6. Don't really need that card, so I draw 1 more, and I get an ace, which I'll explain in a second. So these cards right here, I would use them for my attack, and I would choose the location. So I have a straight here that's worth 4 points. Looking at these items here, the ghoul card locations, the gel here has 4 ghouls there. That looks pretty good. The weapons cache, see it doubles my damage when I'm attacking with pistols. So I think I'll go for that one.